Captain. Captain Ahab, sir. Oh, could you please just turn that music down a little?
What's wrong with you, boy? Don't you like money? Everybody likes money, don't you?
Yeah, I love money, but I got a news report here I got to transmit.
Okay.
Money don't get everything it's due. What it don't get, I can use.
Hey, sit down, not up. NCPC Network Satellite Server 379. This is Freelance 395-6, proceeding to transmit video and audio on cue. Take. Lower Manhattan is where I live, but I haven't been to Ellis Island since I was a kid. My name is Bill Gates III, but most of my clients just call me Number 3. I'm a freelance reporter, and I'm taking a garbage taxi across Upper New York Bay to cover a special event on Ellis Island. But from what I can see so far, it's totally different than I remember. I can't even see the Statue of Liberty. The shape of what appear to be 3 giant pyramids on the island overpower all else. As I get closer, I notice a giant airship of some sort, high above the island. As it descends, I see a giant, colorful dollar bill plastered on its side. How strange. And I finally see Lady Liberty, perched atop the centermost of the pyramids. She's surely full size, but looks tiny compared to the humongous stone edifice that supports her. The ferry's captain explains to me that the island isn't even called Ellis Island anymore. Ivanka Trump convinced the National Park Service Executive Board to allow her to make the island the 8th wonder of the world, promising them that if the revamped island's tourist revenue didn't pay off the national debt in its first year, she personally would see to it that her estranged husband Donald Trump and his high-flying cronies would pay it off. And she supposedly had almost every billionaire in America sign a document pledging to do so. Talk about high-flying. I now see the dirigible about to land on this bizarre island before me. Strange, I had never heard about what was happening on this island so close to Manhattan. Then again, maybe not so strange, considering this to be my first outing since I sequestered myself in my apartment for 2 years to write the great American novel. But failed miserably like just about everybody else. But what lay before me was no fictional novel. It was novel to be sure, but certainly non-fiction. I couldn't help but laugh a bit when my disbelieving eyes fell upon a sign with a picture of Elvis on it, declaring this place to be Trump's Pyramids on Elvis Island. An old man dressed in an Elvis costume filled me in on the details as we made our way afoot, following a pair of somehow familiar young ladies towards an outdoor stage at the base of the biggest pyramid. What, with its rich velvety red drapes, we figured it was surely the site of this special event we both had been anonymously invited to. As we stood in line at the security desk, I was asked to be the designated starving artist for the unveiling performance. Everyone was so friendly, I agreed to be the MC. I was filled in on my part while being rushed to a catwalk above the stage. I was given a heavy placard to hold, and as I stepped onto a small board with a red X on it, I could have sworn I heard a lion roar. Greetings, friends and neighbors. I'm Bill Gates III, your local starving artist host, starving for the truth that is, and I welcome you to today's unveiling of that truth here at Bagan's Venue on the partially renovated Ellis Island, also known to a few of you as Elvis Island. Our guest today includes some very familiar faces. So let's get on with the really big show that we call $1 for Your Thoughts, Through the Eye of a Needle. So, up and away I go. And where I drop, I hope somebody knows. Hello out there. I'm Bill Gates III's father, Bill Gates Jr., and I'm sporting a fresh Elvistic haircut for the occasion. And a very important and serious occasion it is. Some of you may have heard we are going to unveil a new, more colorful dollar bill. Well, we plan on unveiling a lot more than that here today. But before we do, to help get you all in the mood of the moment, I'm going to roll a couple short clips from a very unique film called Hotel Originaldo. Roll it, Ivanka. I also have a very light-hearted variation of my Washington painting called, of course, Father of Our Country, the Almighty Dollar.
Hey, roll the film back for a second. Hey, what are you doing with the picture of my hero, Donald Trump, as a homeless person?
I'll let your money-hungry imagination figure that one out.
You mean greed ain't the best motivator?
How about goodness instead of greediness? Huh, Hot Rod?
Yeah, I guess now that you mention it, for every dollar a person has more than what they need, someone else has $1 less than what they need.
Well, it's not quite that simple, but I would have to say that for every dollar one person has more than they need, it does indeed make it just that much more difficult for someone else to get $1 they do need. Of course, the undefined variables in the equation are what is need and what is considered a reasonable effort at acquisition of that need.
Oh, well, you old commie smart Alex, so much for that top dollar hot rod Lincoln I was gonna buy.
Moving to another very threatening issue.
Oh, sorry, folks, here I go name-calling world-famous nice guy Robin Leach. Calling him Robin the Leach. Just because he brown-noses the big stars with billion-dollar mansions and want to show them off to poor people so they can feel inferior and pray to God to make them rich someday. Maybe by spending their whole paycheck to win the lottery or something. Hey, I even put in the famous Bible quote, Matthew 19:24 in here, to make it respectable. It's easier to get a camel through the eye of a needle than to get a rich man into heaven. But I know Cousin Krause don't want me to offend anyone tonight, so I should always focus on with a really big show.
Thank you, Ivanka, and thank you, Originaldo, for those interesting clips. But allow me to start from the beginning. Even the very words, wealthy and rich, have very misleading connotations. Such words are simply saying that such an individual, family, company, corporation, or country has more money or other material assets than the average or usual individual, family, company, corporation, or country. But the very words, wealthy and rich, also are making a judgmental statement. A statement that having more is a good thing, a positive thing. As an example, if we labeled a person with a lot of money simply as over-moneyed instead of rich or wealthy, that does not have a good and positive sound to it. The label over-moneyed has a bad or negative connotation to it. Of course, we could simply call a person with a lot of money a moneyed person, which has a neutral connotation to it. What we really need to do is decide, under a given set of circumstances, whether having more money than others is a good or bad thing. Let me ask you this, folks. If we were living way back in caveman days, and the group of people we lived and died with numbered no more than 30 or so, And believe it or not, it was this way for hundreds of thousands of years. Let's say your world was limited to such a small group, and your group was having a bad season gathering enough food to eat. Everybody went out to gather food one day, and as fate would have it, you were a better gatherer than the others, and you came back with a giant bounty of food, while everybody else came back with a few withered berries and nuts. Would you call yourself rich and keep all your bounty for yourself or your immediate family while the others in your group went hungry? Of course you wouldn't. You would share your bounty because you knew well everybody in your cave or clan. But of course today things are different. We feel it is okay to have many times more than others, and it is only for one reason. We do not personally know the vast majority of others in the world. So we have been led to believe it is okay to have much more than most others, because not personally knowing the others reduces them from living, breathing, feeling people like you to some sort of statistical abstraction. We need to face the facts, folks, and the truth is that at any given time there are only so many goods and services produced or being produced in the world. And if we take more than we really need, it makes it all that much harder for someone else to get what they do really need.
On a bit of another subject, actually far more important than our human condition, we use the very same mindset of not knowing those who are suffering when we allow ourselves to eat animals that have been mistreated and killed, but we have paid someone else to do the dirty work for us. If we personally knew these animals we eat, or even personally witnessed the atrocities they are subjected to by others, we would certainly think twice about what we eat. Similarly, if we personally knew those humans who suffered in squalor while we languished in comfort, we would think twice before taking more than our equal share of the collective pie. Regardless of how many years we went to college, how many hours a week we worked, or how brilliant our business mind was.
And it is for this reason I hope to start a new trend, something I am announcing today for the first time. I call it Consumer Fiscal Rebate. It is only a small answer to our global giant problem, but for me it is a beginning. Every quarter I will tally all my profits, and all profits in excess of what I really need to save for future product or service development, I am going to refund to each and every person who has made a purchase from my companies. With the new computer programs that exist, it will not be as difficult as it sounds. And I urge all other corporations, companies, and even small businesses to do the same. I also propose that instead of using the words rich and poor, we use the words over-moneyed and under-moneyed, and the happy median could be referred to as adequately moneyed. Just remember, folks, just because the law says something is legally okay doesn't mean it is morally or ethically okay. Many of our laws have been made by and are increasingly still being made by special interest groups, individuals or groups, not for their ethical justness, but to improve the status of some influential special interest group. Let me get out of the way for a second for our next very special guest, Big Wheel 3, Mr. Elvis Presley.